Hello, good evening, and welcome to today's program. My name is Tunde Disu, and you are on Become a Better Man platform. Thank you so much. I hope your day has been great, wonderful, full of adventures and victories. Again, we're continuing on the same pattern, the same topic that we started looking at. This is the third week in the series that we've been dealing with about how we have been sabotaging ourselves unknowingly, how we have been shortchanging ourselves, how we have, quote and unquote, become our own worst enemies, how we have handicapped ourselves from fulfilling the purpose, from achieving our goals, from reaching our destinations, and from becoming all that we could and should be. But the unfortunate thing is, part of this is something we do unknowingly. Some of them, we do them as a result of mistakes. Some of them are what we'll call error of omissions or errors of commission. But irrespective of the nomenclature or the title or the description that we give to it, we are, in some degree, to some extent, handicapping ourselves from becoming all that we are destined to be. You see, for each and every one of us, there's a purpose why we're here. And that purpose can only be fulfilled. That adventure, that assignment can only be achieved by you and I in our own unique way. So within us is this hunger, this desire, this insatiable desire to fulfill and become all that we can be, all that we should be. But somehow along the line, we keep tripping ourselves up. We keep putting blocks on our own path. We keep becoming our own obstacles and creating situations and instances that is stopping us from reaching that goal that we're so consumed with that we want to reach. Now, some of them, like I said, are things we do unknowingly. Some of them are behavioral patterns. Some of them are the way we think. Some of them are the associations that we keep. And some of them are just because we didn't put ourselves in a position or in positions where we can maximize our potentials. So we started looking at this topic of how have we been stopping ourselves? What are the things that we do that has become almost like a hindrance to becoming who we can be or who we should be? So in the first week, we looked at the tendency for us to compare ourselves with others, the tendency for us to do self-comparison with other people. Now, there's nothing wrong with comparing yourself with others. The situation rather becomes negative when that comparison is not designed to lift your game. Rather, it is putting you down. It's making you look at yourself, believe that you are less than you are, thinking that you are not worthy, when the effect of that comparison is a negative effect or having negative influence on you and your view of yourself, then you are immediately unable to become who you should be. And I don't care how much you become like the other person, you're still not fulfilled, because that person is made to fulfill who they are, and you are created to fulfill who you are. So when you abandon your calling, when you abandon your assignment, your purpose, and start pursuing the other person's, you've already lost the battle. So the first week we looked at the danger of comparing ourselves with others, especially when that comparison is ending up making us feel less and unworthy, or putting us down and handicapping us from becoming all that we could be. Then last week we started looking at the issue of the fact that life is a risk. The whole essence of life is risk. Now, Risk doesn't mean jump and then hope you will land on a soft ground. Risk also means do your due diligence, take necessary precautions, check all options, consider all alternatives. But the downside that some people have taken risk analysis to is when that risk analysis now become paralysis, when it stops you from even attempting anything, when it becomes almost like a weight that holds you down because you want all the T's to be crossed and all the I's to be dotted, and you want all the conditions to be perfect and the environment to be suitable. The truth in life is all those factors won't come together at one time. You have to take a shot at life. And as you do that, life have the tendency of also opening up for you, giving you grace, and allowing you to become and achieve your purpose. I read a book once and it says, when you walk towards your goal, life will watch your goal, your movement, to establish that you are actually serious, that you really want to achieve, that you really want to be where you say you are going. And once life establishes that this guy is serious, this lady is serious, the goal will start walking towards you. And before you know it, a goal that you have set to achieve in 5 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line, you've already achieved it, because you have demonstrated consistency, discipline, and dedication. The goal will start to work towards you. But today on this program, as part of this series of considering what are some of the things that we do to handicap ourselves, to stop ourselves, to yoke ourselves from becoming. On today's program, we're looking at succumbing to distractions. Succumbing to distractions. Whether you know it or not, or whether you agree to it or not, life is full of surprises. But at the same time, life is full of distractions. Everywhere you look in life, you don't even need to look. Distractions are right in your face, in your ears, in your mouth, on your heart, in your mind, is singing in your head. Everything around and about us are competing for our attention, competing for our times, competing for our commitment, competing for them to dominate our focus. But the truth is, just because there are so many of them doesn't mean we have to pay attention to all of them. It is choosing between what you should focus on and what is actually there just to steal your time, steal your focus, steal your energy, steal your resources. It's the ability to differentiate between these two factors that would determine whether you are actually making progress or you are standing still. But you see, in life, you are either going forward or you are going back. There is no standing still in life, because even when you think you are standing still, other people, other events are coming from behind you, and they are walking past you. So as the moment they walk past you, guess what? You are now behind. So you are either making progress or you are regressing. There's no standing still in life. We all have goals and objectives, and rightly so. We all want to achieve them, and rightly so. But goals are what we want, and objectives are how we intend to achieve those goals, or how we plan to arrive at the destination that we've set ourselves to arrive at. But more often than not, we either arrive at the destination later than we intended, later than we planned to, or in most cases, we never get there. In most cases, we never even arrive. In some serious cases, we didn't even start the journey. The life ambitions are either never achieved or it takes longer. And the longer it takes, the more the enthusiasm, the energy, the commitment, the willingness to pursue it, the more it will wane on us. Some people have the ability to, from time to time, to stop and look at their lives and consider their path and ask themselves and do what we call self-auditing. What is happening to me? Why am I not making this progress? Why is this happening to me? And this and that. And they will not just ask those questions. They will answer them, they will analyze them, they will chew the meat and spill the bones, as it were. They will take the juice out of it and use it to become better. But the truth is, most of us don't do that. We don't do self-examination, we don't do self-audit, and when we do them, we don't do anything with what we find. We just think, oh, well, that's by the way. We move on to the next one. We approach the next event. We are waiting for the next activity. Irrespective of the genuineness and the efforts and the commitment that you invest in your goals and in your objectives, one of the biggest competitor, one of the biggest constraints, one of the biggest obstacles and mountains that you will have to climb and overcome to arrive at your destination, to achieve your purpose in life, is that thing called distractions. 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 What are distractions? If we say, what in your life, in my life, if we look critically, in fact, we don't need to look critically. You just need to open your eyes and you can see hundreds and thousands of things that are distracting you. But for the sake of this program today, let us look at what is a distraction. What is a distraction? Distraction is simply the process of diverting attention from a desired area of focus, resulting in blocking or diminishing the reception of the desired information. I know that's a long definition. I'll say it again. Distraction is simply the process of diverting attention, diverting your energy, diverting your focus, diverting your resources from a desired area, from a desired goal, from a desired purpose. And once that distraction, once that diversion rather comes in, the result is that your ability to achieve that goal is either completely eroded or it is diminished. So, in your life and in my life, using this definition, what are some of the things that you will identify as distractions in your life? Distraction is also the inability to pay attention. The inability to pay attention. It's a lack of interest in the object of our attention. It's the intensity or the attractiveness of something other than the object of our focus, other than the object of our attention, other than the purpose for which you are embarking on a particular task or journey. Distraction comes both from internal and external. We sometimes distract ourselves, and sometimes it's things around us. It's people around us. It's the environment in which we find ourselves that causes this distraction. Distraction is anything that prevents you from concentrating on something else. That prevents you from concentrating on something else. Distraction could be in the form of diversion or interruption or disturbance or intrusion or interference, whatever you want to call it. Whatever takes your focus away from your point of attention is a distraction. But guess what? The life we live today, the environment, the society, the world in which you and I live in today has conditioned most of us and reduced us and fed us with so much self-indulgence that you have to force yourself, you have to remind yourself to think. You have to remind yourself to concentrate. You have to remind yourself to pay attention. You have to remind yourself to be alert, to wake up and be in the here and now. Simply because there are so many things causing distractions around our lives. I know as I'm talking, if you are truthful with yourself, and I hope you are, you can identify some of these things as we're going through this program today. You see, in the past, 10, 15, maybe 20 years, there has been almost like an assault, a war, a multitude of many frontal wars that has attacked our capacity to fix our minds steadily on one thing and one thing alone for a protracted time. You will hear people say things like, oh, our attention span is very short. Oh, these people don't have a long attention span, so anything you want to say it within 2 minutes, because if it goes longer than that, people will lose concentration. The question is it because the object of discussion, is it because it's not reasonable, it's not profitable, it's not valuable that people lose attention? Or is it because suddenly something else that seemed more important has just come up? But when the chips are down, when you actually analyze this thing that's seemingly more important, they're not. They are just attention seeker, time stealer, concentration stealers. To stay still these days and just stay still and think without having things to distract you, without succumbing to the anxious reach for your phone, for your iPad, for your remote control, for this, for that, it's almost impossible for people to stay still and think. I want to use my uncle as an example again on this program today. I remember when we were in those days in Bendel State, working for NMPC. My uncle is a geophysicist, and so they have this instrument, electrical or electronics instrument that they use for seismic operations, and every now and again the equipment, some of them will break down, and this person will try and that person will try, and then my uncle will come and he'll say, right, he'll go into the workshop and lock the door on himself, and it could be there for half a day, for I don't know how many hours. To us from outside it seemed like eternity, but he will be there. And some of the time, he's there not doing anything. He's there thinking through the process. Okay, if this is happening, why is that not happening? And before you know it, my uncle comes out and the machine is singing and dancing again. But can we get you and I these days to sit still and just think about an issue for 1 hour? That's too long. 15 minutes. Just think on one thing and one thing only for 15 minutes without anything else distracting you. We struggle with that. And because we are unable to stay still and commune with ourselves and reach deep into our creativity and into the depth of our person, we are unable to solve most of the life problems that we have. We can't even deal or handle situations right in front of us, not to talk of planning for 5, 10, 15 years down the line. Distraction is perhaps one of the greatest battles that we all have to deal with and contend with and fight with if we're to achieve and become better men and better women in this day and age. Distraction these days they've become the tool of the trade. It used to be when you want to buy something, for instance, on the internet, you want to buy something, you have to fill this form and then fill that form and wait for the confirmation of your registration before you can then, maybe 3 days down the line, then you have the authorization to place the order. But when you look at websites, for instance, these days, they are designed for you to see the item, buy the item, get off of that particular shop or that website in as little as 15 seconds. Any click from identifying the item you want to buy to your checkout point where you put your card details and it goes through, if it's more than 3 or 4 clicks in today's market, it's not working. It's not user-friendly. We've been conditioned to think the fewer the clicks, the more benefit we get out of our shopping experience. But that's not true. Just a few clicks. They call it the less, the better, and faster. The less click, the better, and the faster you get out of it. What are they trying to do? They're trying to safeguard from you getting distracted before you complete the processing of purchasing on that website. The obsession with current events in today's world is relentless. Again, that is another avenue for distraction. Our minds have been programmed and processed and conditioned to think if something, at every point in time, there's something happening somewhere in the world. And if you don't get to know about it at that instant that is happening, you're missing something. That's how we've been programmed. That's how we've been prepared. That's the world we live in today. So constantly, even when you are busy doing something, the back of your mind, half of your brain is thinking, what am I missing out on? Why is my phone, how come my phone has not even beeped in the last 2 minutes? Then you check it. Is my battery out? Maybe I don't have internet connection. We have been conditioned to become restless if we're not hearing the phone ringing or the WhatsApp beeping or the Facebook clinking or this or that or this or that. But at the end of the day, all of that put together is nothing but a form of distraction, because it deprives us of focusing, of paying attention, of being intent about anything for a duration of time. We are constantly challenged to discover what is happening. What's the new thing? What are they saying? What's the latest thing? What's the gossip? Who's winning? Who's losing? Who is doing this? Who is doing that? We live in a world of constant flow of information. But the truth is, 90% of those information are not relevant to you, to me, to our purpose, to where we're going, to our goals, to our objectives. Nothing. They are just garbage. Oh yeah, maybe, listen. I am not claiming to be squeaky clean. I'm as guilty as charged. But I'm saying it is something that is robbing this generation, that is robbing this world, that is robbing you and I from fulfilling our potentials. We don't allow, because of the constant ever-changing this, that, we have lost the taste or the ability to take in something, to experience something, to encounter something, and hold on to that feeling, that inner. How, for instance, you go to a museum, or you're just walking down the road, just normal day, nothing special. You're just walking down the road and you come across, especially in this season when spring is in the air, you come across a beautiful flower that is just blooming. What do? Instead of taking our time to enjoy that presence, to savor that encounter, and to appreciate the composition of that flower, what do? We look at it. The next thing, we put our hand in our pocket, bring out our phone. You take the picture, saying to yourself, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to show this. Before you walk two meters down the road, that memory is gone because there's something else. And this inability for us to savor our encounters and our experiences is robbing us of being rich in our souls, being wealthy in our senses. I remember somebody said, one of the differences between a rich man and a poor man is that when you go into a rich man's house, the biggest thing you see there is his library. The library of books, the library of manuals, of journals, of learning materials that he has. But when you go into a poor man's house, the biggest thing you see is his TV, the size of his car outside. The point is, while a rich man is not just rich in money, he is rich in his heart, in his senses, in his ability to process things because of the knowledge that he has encountered, the knowledge that he has rubbed his mind against. The poor man, all he has is the information being pushed out from his TV. Ladies and gentlemen, truth be told, sometimes restriction, the ability to restrict yourself, is the best thing you can do for yourself. The ability to hold yourself back, it's called self-discipline. The ability to refuse to let go of what is important rather than running after what is urgent. You know, when people have, when somebody is big in size, one of the things people that will be recommended is you need to diet. You need to watch what you eat. You need to be mindful of what you put in your body. I think it goes further than that. Our mind also needs us to diet. Put your mind on a diet. Not every garbage and every information out there that you should allow to go into your mind. Because before you know it, your mind becomes an obese. But if you can discipline your body by dieting, then discipline your mind also by being mindful of what goes in and what you retain. Because ultimately, that is what will form the person on the inside of you, and that is what you will bring forth. Every man is a product of the word they sit under. Every one of us, we are all products of the word we sit under. Because the word you hear will determine how you feel. It will affect your emotion. And how you feel will affect or determine how you choose, how you process, how you make decisions. The decision you make will determine how you react or how you act. Your action will determine how you are processed and reckoned with. Your action will determine your character. And your character will ultimately determine your destination, what you become in life. But you see, it all starts with the word that you're sitting under, the word that is constantly in your ear. What creates endless engagement or addiction most of the time is masquerading as what we call conveniences in life. Oh yeah, we just do that. Oh yeah, I'll just quickly do this text. And we think all those things, we have been trained, we have been conditioned, and we come to believe that, oh, it's convenient to just do that. Oh, you don't need to read that. Just go to the back and fill the form and send it in. The computer will fill in the blanks and blah. But what you have lost is the ability to understand what you are doing and why you are doing it. Endless distraction are not further away from you and I. They're always in our pocket, always in our hands, always before us. And one of the greatest form of distractions in our lives today is our mobile phones. There was a time when a phone is just to make calls and receive calls. But now mobile phone is everything. Anything you want to do, you have to do, can be done on a smartphone. Everything. Now, am I against that? No, I have one. And it does all those things for me too. But the reality is, with that sense of convenience, of instant gratification, comes the danger of distraction. Social media, viral videos, many apps, this one and that one, they are all competing for our attention every minute of the day. Distraction is a brother to procrastination because both of them, they have this tendency of putting you in a handcuff and shackle your feet to the ground and stop you from fulfilling your purpose in life. If you think, again, this is another deception. You think the grass is greener on the other side, so you need to know what is happening on the other side. It's not true. Most of the time, many times, there are no grass even on the other side, talk less of it being greener. The more you tolerate distraction, the more you allow things to distract you, the more you allow things to move your focus from what you are doing, the more difficult it will be for you to deliver, both on time and also in good quality. And ultimately, it will affect your life. The more you allow and tolerate distractions, the more difficult it will become for you to deliver maximally, timely, and in good quality. And eventually, your life will suffer for it. And sometimes, again, this is another management theology or management principle that we've been fed about multitasking. Oh yeah, you can multitask and do this and this and this. Let me tell you, it's not true. Multitasking does not add any iota. Well, maybe that's overstretching it. Multitasking has limited, very minute value that is added to yourself, your life, and your productivity. You see, the myth about multitasking is that you can do this and do this at the same time. But the reality is, you are one person. You cannot physically give two things your full attention at the same time. It's not possible. It is not humanly possible for you to give two things your full attention at the same time. That's why they say when you drive, don't use the phone. Because you can't do the two together and do them well at the same time. With multitasking, you are constantly switching from doing this one well to go and do that one well. Now, the two might be just next to you, right in front of you. But you see, what we don't recognize about multitasking is those tiny seconds that you miss, you drop, you lose between switching from one to another added to the time it will take you to come into full flow on what you are switching to. When you add those things together, you will realize you are really not maximizing and using all of your energy and your focus and your everything to achieve maximally on anything. You spread yourself too thin, you become irrelevant in everything. So, one of the ways by which we handicap ourselves, by which we stop ourselves from becoming and maximizing our potentials or reaching our goals, is because we succumb, we submit to distractions. We allow distractions to consume a bigger part of our day, of our time, of our existence, of our focus, of our attention, our resources, our energy, and everything else. And that is why, if you look at our work-life pattern these days, we tend to do more. We are permanently, almost permanently at work. I did a program recently on this platform, and if you haven't seen it, go to my YouTube channel and watch it. We talked about work-life balance. And gradually, the line between where your work life and your family life is, the lines are blurred. More and more people are bringing work back home. More and more people are spending longer time in the office to work. Most people these days are permanently at work. Do you know why? Because you are always available on your phone, on your WhatsApp, on your email, on your social media. So at any point in time, day or night, people know they can get through to you. But the good news is this, ladies and gentlemen. In order for us to reduce the effect of distractions, in order for us to even try to manage distractions in our lives so that we can increase our productivities both in quantity and in quality, there are a few things that we can do. There are a few steps that we can take that will help us to take back our lives, take back our time, take back our energy, take back our focus from all these things that are distracting us. Quickly, let's look at some of these things that we can do. The first thing is you must be able to anticipate the kinds of distractions that are likely to come upon you. You know, and I know that you know what are those things that are distractions in your life. What are those things that are distracting you? You know them. I know that you know them. But for argument's sake, let me paint a picture for you. Maybe that will help jog your memory. If you find yourself constantly checking your emails, looking at your Facebook, constantly sending a chat on your phone, or you find yourself every now and again you're going out for a smoke, cigarette, or you're always running to the kitchen at work for tea break and coffee break and water break and sweating break and this break. If you are constantly doing all of this, before you know it, if you would just take a time to catalog every minute that you spend checking your mail, your emails, checking your Facebook, and going out to smoke, chatting with a friend that is not work related, going for a coffee break and tea break, when you add them together, you realize that on average, about 2.5 hours every day is spent on those things. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours every day. But here's the key. Once you identify these distractions, Once you identify this pattern in your life, remember, it's your life. You are in charge of your life, not the other way around. You are in charge of your phone. You are in control of your Facebook. You are in control of your Twitter, whatever it is else that you have identified as a form of distraction to you. You are in charge. Once you identify it, it is now time for you to do something about it. One of the things you can do is to start small. Restrict yourself to say, for the next 15 minutes, I will not check my emails, I will not check my Facebook, I will not do any of those things that I have identified as distractions in my life. Refuse to respond to email like ping and you're already typing away. When notification comes that your friend has just posted something on Facebook, don't go for debate. When somebody puts their heads around your door to say, hey, you coming out for a fag? Tell them no. You don't have to constantly be on the edge of what is happening, what is going to happen. No. Take back your time. You can say to yourself, okay, the next 1 hour is my crunch time. I'm just going to buckle down and just do this. And once that 1 hour is gone, you can then spend the next few minutes to do other things. But that 1 hour should be focused. Over time, people will come to understand that as your lifestyle. When they send you an email or a text message or a Facebook postings, they are not expecting an instant response because they know that's your new way of life. And because they know, they too will restrict from sending it to you. Guess what? You've bought back some of your time. Be careful of the mentality, the mindset that says, oh, just a few seconds, just a few minutes, I'll just check this. Oh, I just typed that and respond to that. No. Refuse that. The moment you refuse that, it increases your commitment to not be distracted. If you know that John down the hall or Kathy down the passage is always coming on Monday morning to tell you how terrible or how wonderful their weekends are, then on Monday, get to the office earlier than John or Kathy. Get into your office. As soon as they come say, oh, how was your weekend? Just say, look, I can't talk right now. I'll get back to you. When you do that 2 or 3 times, guess what? They will get the message that you don't want to be distracted. Your Monday morning is not for chitty-chatty, it's for productive deliverances. Be polite, but be firm. So the first thing you can do to combat distraction and take back your time, your life, your strength and resources is identify those things that are distracting you and do something about it. Another thing you can do is to raise your standard and take control of your life. At the end of the day, it's your life. It's your time. You are in charge. You are in control. Irrespective of what anybody says or anything does, at the end of the day, it is your life and you are in control. Change the way you think about time. Change the way you think about time. You see, you can't be doing the same thing expecting a different result. You can't use the same mentality that you have used that has made you become so distracted you are almost not in focus to anything. You cannot use that same mentality to get back your time. You need to change the way you think, especially about time, about values, about results. about productivity, about yourself, about the quality of your life. You need to change the way you think about all these things. When you make them your priorities, when you make them your main goals, when you focus on them, every other thing will become afterthought. Every other thing will pale into insignificance. Your time will come back to you. Your energy, your resources will come back to you. Distractions will flee from you. But it starts with you changing the way you think about time, about value, and about results. Always remember that there is no distraction in this world that is worth you compromising your integrity, compromising your health, compromising your life goals, compromising your family, compromising your career, your reputation, your result. Nothing. No distraction is worth any of those. Because at the end of the day, what will matter is your result and nothing else. But it starts with changing the way you think about time, about values, and about results. Also, what you can do to rescue your focus back from distraction is to plan, commit, and execute. You have to plan what you want to do, how you're going to do it, when, where, with, what. You have to put a plan in place. And when I say a plan, I'm not talking of a head knowledge plan. Commit your plans into writing. Write it down. Once it is written down, it forces you to pay attention to it. Because if it's just in your head, there are many things going on and badging you and buffeting you and competing for the space in your head. But if it's written down in black and white in front of you, the moment you look at it, it becomes your focal point. You need a solid plan. Then you need to prepare your plan in advance and put it in writing. And then schedule your time on how to commit, how to tackle, how to face it, how to concentrate on it. Be thoughtful in your approach, and if possible, brainstorm some scenarios with yourself or with others to say, okay, if I want to do this thing, what do you think I can do? Maybe I should do this. Can I really do that? What will happen to this? And once you've turned that over and over in your mind with a like-minded friend or something, guess what? The pathway will open. Focus on outcomes and strategies before you start doing. Focus on the end goal and the path to get to it. And once you start, you're unstoppable. Commit yourself to successfully accomplish the goal that you set, irrespective of the situation. Irrespective of the situation. Bible says David encouraged himself. You need to encourage yourself. You need to build yourself up. You need to talk to yourself. Another thing you can do is to cultivate what is called sensory acuity. These floodlights that people have in front of their garage or in front of their house. You may wonder, every time something walks past, the light will come on. Is it because somebody was standing by the switch and every time he sees something, he flicks the switch? No. There is a sensor that is attached that works with that light. And once that sensor picks up anything that reflects on it, it triggers the light and the light comes up. You can do the same thing as far as distraction is concerned. You can learn to cultivate your sensors to be so accurate, to be pin sharp alert, so that they pick up all these form of distractions that are easily coming all over you. so that they trigger a response in you to say, uh-oh, here it comes. Uh-oh, that's a distraction. Be careful, it's going to happen. Wait for it, it's coming. So do something else. Develop and cultivate and groom yourself to be alert, to correctly pick up the signals when distractions are coming. Because they don't just drop on you, they crawl on you until they take hold of you. And the irony is, this sensory, this ability to cultivate your senses to pick up these signals, you can develop it, you can grow it, you can strengthen it, just like your muscle. If you keep going to the gym and pumping the iron, guess what will happen? The muscles will start popping up like they were not there before. Like somebody is just putting cement on you. No, they were there. All they're waiting is something to activate them and wake them up to come alive. It's the same thing with distraction. Another thing you can do is to train yourself to focus. Train yourself to focus. I remember one of the things I learned years ago about focusing is, you get a piece of paper. You can do this at home actually. Get a piece of paper, blank, maybe A4 size paper. Put a circle, a black dot circle, not too big, just small circle, on that piece of paper. Stick the paper to a wall, maybe about a meter and a half, 2 meters from you, and just stand and gaze into that dot on that piece of paper. Just focus on that dot. Within a short time, that dot will disappear. You won't see the dot. If you really focus on it, you won't see the dot. All you will see is a blank white paper in front of you. This is one of the techniques you can do to learn how to focus. When you focus to the point where the object is almost not there, now you are working on it. Now you are achieving purpose. Now you are doing something. You are training not just your eyes, but you are also training your mentality, your brain, and your body system to pay attention, to focus, to be alert, to just concentrate on one thing and one thing at a time. This world is full of things vying, just pulling us in different directions. But you must remember that focus is a skill that you can develop, that you can learn. And if the piece of paper idea is seemingly weird to you, do something they call Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique simply means break your time into chunks. Start small and then increase it as it goes. Say you have a task, and that task is going to take you, say, an hour to finish. Break it down into 15 minutes chunks. Work on it for 15 minutes, take 5 minutes break. Go back and work on it another 15 minutes, take 5 minutes break. Now, as you do that, you will realize that your brain, your senses, your body system, your mentality is not looking forward to the 5 minutes break, but your brain will start to push itself to accomplish as much as possible within that 15 minutes. It is not the break that you look forward to. It is what you accomplish, what you can accomplish within the 15 minutes. That becomes the drive, that becomes the focus, that becomes the consuming thought that your brain is processing. We've only got 15 minutes for this. We need to get the most out of it. And gradually increase that 15 minutes to 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But once you have done the 15 minutes and put together, you've got 60 minutes, then take a longer break. Take 30 minutes break. Instead of 5 minutes, now take 30 minutes break. This is what will happen. If you do it right, you do it correctly, you are committed rigorously about it, this is what will happen. Once your 1 hour is completed and you're supposed to take 30 minutes break, your brain tells you, oh, come on, that's going to distract us. We're on the flow now. We're moving. We can't afford to have a break now. This momentum is going. But gradually, your ability to focus, your ability to shut the door on distraction, your ability to stop yourself from being pulled away will grow. And as it grows, distraction will disappear. Oh. Gosh, it's 9 o'clock. Well, how does time just fly by? All right, quickly, let's finish this. Another thing you can do to train yourself to avoid distraction is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is just like the training yourself to focus. Mindfulness is practice things like meditation. Practice things like meditation. I know a lot of people have attached negative connotations to yoga and all of that. God bless them. I don't do it. But for me, if it works for you, God bless you. But those are things where it forces you to bring yourself back to yourself. It forces you to bring yourself back to yourself. And as you come back to yourself, you are accorded the ability to go deep on the inside of yourself and just find out, where are you? Who am I? What's happening to me? And in the process, most of life's challenges are answered, are solved when you reach deep into yourself. Some people will do journaling. They will just write down everything they're thinking, they're experiencing, they are feeling. One of the worst things to write down is how you feel. Because you can't really explain it. But the mere attempt to write down how you feel, it forces you to put into words what is going on the inside of you. And that is a power that not even the biggest nuclear warhead can terminate. Some people will just go for a walk in the park. Some people will go jogging. Some people will go to the gym. Whatever you do that forces you, that brings you to connect with yourself, is another way by which you shut down and eliminate distractions in your life. In conclusion, coping, handling, and dealing with distraction is a challenge. Though it's not a walk in the park. It's not just going to happen like that. It's an uphill task. But don't be afraid to commit. Don't be afraid to confront it. Don't be afraid to give it your best punch, because you have what it takes to overcome. It's your life. It's your time. It's your energy. It's your resources. All you have to do is wrestle it back from all those things that are causing distraction. And the good news is you have the power. You have the power to stand up for it, to refuse for these things to continue stealing your time and your life. So, choose today, ladies and gentlemen, to be more productive, to embrace productivity, to engage in activities that will bring you back in focus to what is important in your life. And you do it for a long time. Thank you so much for being part of today's program. I believe something said today definitely resonated with you, because it did with me. I mean, I'm talking and I'm ticking off boxes in my own head as this program was going on. I want to ask for a special favor on this program. If you are watching this program, either live right now or at some point, I'd like to hear from you. What are the ways by which you think, or what are some of the practices or things you have done or you are doing in your life to break this yoke of distraction? I'd like to hear from you. Tell me some of your tricks, some of the things you're doing. Or maybe you have the challenge of being distracted and you're wondering, gosh, I wish I can be more productive in my day. I wish I can bring more to my day, to my life. Come on, let's talk. Let's work together. Let's help each other. Let's challenge one another. Let's be our brothers and our sisters' keeper. Let's stand shoulder to shoulder. Because remember, we have a purpose. We all have a destination. There's a goal that is set before us. And we will not give up. We will not cave in. We refuse to be cowards. We refuse to let this life take away from us what we're not willing to give. We refuse to remain the same over and over again. We have a better place. And we are on our journey to that better place. And I know that when we arrive, and we will arrive, that's the good news, we definitely will arrive. And when we arrive, there is no telling the joy that will fill your heart and my heart, knowing that we've taken on this journey, we've taken on this challenge, and now we're victorious. Because everyone that will see you, everyone that will see me will have no choice but to say, surely, these are better men and better women. I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I honor your commitment and dedication to this platform. And I know in my knower that it is adding values to your life. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on telling others. Let's keep on sharing this program. Let's keep on encouraging other people so that they too can become better men and better women. And until we meet again next week, this is Tunde Disu saying, God bless you, appreciate you, and I'll see you same time next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. God bless you. Bye-bye.